Hello everyone, welcome to the channel PHYSICSSIRJEE. Here we are with a magnetic twist to a famous chasing problem, which nicely incorporates the understanding of kinematics into your magnetic force on a moving charged particle. Okay, so without much further ado, let me share the formal wording of the question. So on the two vertices of the triangle ABC, which is equilateral, as you could see in the diagram, there are two ants, one at B here and one at C. Okay, ant at C will start moving along this line with a constant speed u, whereas ant at B is going to move in a way that its velocity vector is always directed towards the position of the ant from C. So it is that ant at B will be moving with a constant speed but varying in direction, whereas ant at C would be moving with a constant speed whose value is u, right? So constant velocity you could call it. So the other constant speed that I spoke of for ant B is the speed v. They were found to meet at vertex A. Okay, there are only two ants here. The vertex A is the destination for both of them. So whenever C, which moves in a straight line, reaches A, it seems the speed v of B is also such that it moves and meets that other ant at point A. All of this happens in delta t from the start. The ant starting from B, the one here, has a charge q, and there exists a uniform and constant vertical magnetic field B naught in this region. Okay, so all of this assume it is on a horizontal rough floor as mentioned in the question. The other ant is neutral, so there won't be any magnetic force on this particular ant which moves towards A. So only the charged ant is the ant from B. Assume no slipping between ants and the floor and ignore radiation effects due to accelerating charge. Okay, that's a basic condition so that we keep the problem very simple. Also assume there is no sudden change in velocity of ants at the start. So this motion was very smooth. Just imagine the ant B was moving along straight line and suddenly after reaching B, it will start curving its velocity, right? And C also was nicely moving in a steady manner. It's not that they were varying its velocity in a sudden manner. So using this understanding, you're supposed to mark the correct options that follow the question. You could see option A is talking about the time duration in terms of d and u. Option B talks about the distance traveled by the ant from B, which moves in a curvilinear path. Option C talks about magnitude of average magnetic force on the ant starting from B during its journey from B to A in a curved path. And option D discusses about the initial acceleration of ant starting from B, right? What is its direction? Okay, so I would request you to pause this video. We want to give it a try. Just give it a try for some period of time, and then you can continue looking forward to the solution that I'm going to share with you. Okay. So let's move to the next page. I've already pre-drawn some of the situations here, and you could see in figure 1, I've drawn an arbitrary instant at which the ant from B, let me mark that B here, and the ant from C are positioned as you could clearly see. So ant from B, the path I have shown in red color, and ant from C is moving on this straight line path and is right now positioned here. And I have drawn an imaginary spring. Okay, it's in my mind, it's not exactly there, so that I can visualize the closing out of the distance between the two ants. Okay, so I think I can think at this point of time that there is a spring at that connecting these two, and it's getting compressed due to these velocities. Okay, so that is my visualization. So this is a hypothetical spring in my mind. And same thing I have zoomed in figure 2. Okay, as you could see, the same hypothetical spring whose length in at that instant is x. I have zoomed, and I have borrowed the velocity v of that ant from B, and I have borrowed the velocity component of the ant from C, which is u cos theta. As you could see, I only borrowed the u cos theta. Okay, my argument is the velocity v and the component of velocity u cos theta are together responsible for the change of the length of that hypothetical spring or closing out of the two ants. There is another figure that I have pre-drawn, which is figure 3, as you could see here, which talks about the entire velocity of ant from C. I have portrayed it as it is, and then the component of V along the side of this particular triangle, AB side. Okay, so that V now becomes a component in figure 3. So this will depict what is the distance traveled or displacement of that ant from B along the other side. Okay, so AC side I am talking about. Okay, so we'll use figure 3 also. And I've also drawn figure 4, which I'll explain during the course of the solution. Okay, so let me try to put out from figure 2, so we'll try to say that the rate at which the x is decreasing, rate at which the x length is decreasing, I can write minus dx by dt should be equal to, as you could see, the v tries to or tends to decrease it, whereas u cos theta tends to increase it. So I should respect that with a minus sign. So this should be minus u cos of that theta that I wrote. Okay, right. So if I take dt on that side and try to integrate this, okay, so this would be minus dx upon integral, right, should be equal to the value of v dt, and integration of v dt over a period of delta t time, I think I should be comfortable enough to write it as vt minus the value of u comes out. U is a constant value, but cos theta is a variable. As you could see in this figure 1, as this video progresses, the value of that angle theta will keep changing. So it's not a straightforward integration. So I would write this as u with an integral separating that out, cos theta, I'll just write it in the same color, cos theta into dt, as the time varies from 0 to the delta t that he's talking about. So maybe in the question he said delta t, so for my convenience I'll write as capital T. Okay, so this is 0 to capital T. And what is the value of that or limits for that x? The spring that you're talking about, which is compressing as you keep going in this video, was initially situated along BC length. Okay, right? So the first value of the length of the spring is the side of the triangle, which is given as d itself. So your minus dx integral starts with the value of d itself and ends with a 0. Okay, I hope this is very clear. This is all being done from figure 2. So the left hand side of this is simply d is equal to v into capital T minus u times of, I'll do one more thing. As you could see that the capital T can also be written as the value of the distance traveled by the ant from C. That was a pretty straightforward motion, right? It was a constant velocity and d distance being covered in u. I think you all will appreciate that this is simply d by u. Okay, so these are the things that I'm using in that solution. So I'll directly substitute that value vd by u minus, I'll keep the rest of the integration as it is, 0 to t, because I can't integrate this. I'll wait for some other help. So this is equation number 1. Okay, right. So let me highlight that so that we don't lose the track of that. Right. Then let's move to figure 3 now. Okay, so figure 3 teaches us something nice. And this was written so that I can get rid of this integral. Remember this integral, right? I need to find out a way to do that. So that is another cos theta. So along the direction AC, let's ask ourselves, what is the distance traveled by the ant coming from B, or displacement is a better word. Okay, right? So that is where figure 4 comes into picture. So you could see that the shadow or the projection or the component of that velocity vector, when I draw and I think of that v cos theta from figure 3, I'll put both the figures simultaneously for you to see. Can you see that? So this v cos theta, when I integrate over time during the journey, gives me the displacement component of the ant from B on this side. Okay, because every time I take component of v cos theta, remember cos theta would be varying as we keep going. Okay, so that should give me only the displacement of the particle. So displacement of that would be first initial position, projection onto that side AC would be here, right? If I project from the initial position of the ant from B onto the side AC, I'll start here. And what is the last projection? It was here, so it will be here only. So the displacement of ant from B on the side AC would be this red colored part. Okay, right. Not that it won't go back. Actually, cos theta would be negative in the initial stages. Okay, right. And therefore, the ant will start from here, or ant shadow on AC will start from here, go back and come forth again. But since this is a displacement equation, I don't care about the backward motion of that. So I would say this is the value of integration of v cos theta over time for the ant from B. Okay, so let's say this is A, this is B, so that you can keep a track of that. So along direction AC, displacement of ant from B is, you could see, I think that's an equilateral triangle. That red colored length would be half of the side is d by 2, which immediately tells you that the integral that I wanted to eliminate from the previous, I have a lifeline here, which would be from 0 to t units, and the value of v cos theta dt is simply t by 2. Okay, right. So this is your second equation. So let me highlight this. All right, perfect. So what I'll do is I'll put the information of integration cos theta. So you can see I can bring v out, and then integration of cos theta dt I'll substitute here. Okay, so that will make the equation solvable. So putting 1 into 2 going into 1 would imply, I'll just keep it in my vicinity. So d in the top, so I'll write that white equation, d is equal to vd by u that you already wrote minus u times of, now I'll substitute for that integral. Integral carefully substituted would be d divided by 2v. Right? And it's pretty simple that you can cancel the d out throughout. So this is done, and this is done. Okay, and this yields a simplistic looking equation equal to v by u minus u by 2v. Okay, so if I put v by u is, let's say, some p as some variable that I could have just directly solved, right? This makes it nice looking equation. So it would be p minus 1 by 2p, which is a simple quadratic. When you rearrange, it would be 2p square minus 2p minus 1 equal to 0, and that would mean the value of p is equal to 2 plus square root of, I think, b square minus 4ac you could clearly see is a square root of 12 and divided by 4. The negative root is eliminated, and that should tell you the value of v for that insect starting from b is this p times of that u that you end up having, so which is root 3 plus 1 divided by 2 into u. And why is this all needed? Because I was after the option number 2. Can you see the distance traveled by the ant starting from B is root 3d. We have to ascertain whether this is right or wrong. I think the first answer is perfectly all right, because the value of time taken can be simply noted as the distance divided by speed of ant from C. Okay, right. And for this second option, I think you realize the distance traveled by ant from B should be simply V into T, which would be therefore root 3 plus 1 divided by 2 into D, and definitely not what he has given in option B. Okay, so that option goes wrong. Now comes the magnetic part. Okay, so let's read the option C again. In the option C, he's talking about average magnetic forces magnitude. So it's just a magnitude, but also an average value. So let me write the magnetic force on the charged ant. Looking at option C now, right? So the value of magnetic force vector on that ant would be simply q times of velocity vector cross with magnetic field that he has given in the question. Now when I take average, I have this habit of using angled brackets. So this always is symbolic of an average quantity. I think I can send the average. Remember, this is a constant, even this is a constant throughout the journey. So average of these things would mathematically mean only the average of velocity vector inside crossed with p bar. Kinematics teaches us that average velocity vector is always given by value of displacement vector divided by time taken, which itself is another vector, and this is it. Okay, now let's ask ourselves, what is the displacement vector of the ant from B? And displacement vector doesn't care about the journey, it cares only about the starting point and ending point. I think that your displacement vector is BA bar, okay, which is also of the length d. And what is the direction of magnetic field? I think it is perpendicular to the page. So when you take a cross product of this displacement vector, right, and the magnetic field, it's simply a product in this problem. Okay, so it's a very interesting result that we ended up having even for a future magnetic force problem. Average force is always only related to the displacement of the particle, as you could clearly see. Okay, so this would be simply q times of s by t into b itself in magnitude. So let me write, I'm talking about average, and then I have also taken the modulus of this. That's why I could remove the cross product. And what is s by t? S by t is d by t, and d by t is u, okay, in magnitude. That's u. So which is a nice interesting one. So this would be u, and this magnitude of that is b naught. Okay, so your option C, even though it looks, it's different from that, maybe you were expecting a V here, but it actually boils down to becoming a U because of the calculations that we saw here. Okay, so option C is perfect. Let's go to option D. The initial acceleration of the ant starting from B is horizontal and perpendicular to the side of triangle BC, right? So if you carefully go to the figure to understand, I'll use the figure 4 now. In figure 4, you see the velocity vector at the start is this way, like this, and it's a curvilinear path, and in any curvilinear path there are two components of acceleration. One is the tangential acceleration, something like this, and another one is the normal acceleration. And in this case, since it is a constant speed motion, tangential acceleration won't be existing, so the acceleration has no choice but to stay perpendicular and in the plane of the motion. So that's why it's a horizontal direction. Okay, so option D is also a correct answer. So summing up, the correct answer for this particular question would be A, and then B was wrong because we ended up having a different value. C was perfect, and I think D was also a correct answer. Okay, right. So that's it, and we'll come back again with another interesting video about magnetic force. And also please do follow the other playlists in which other concepts are being covered. Thank you, and see you again.